Oh, hey. Have you heard about the Immaculata bourbon from Preservation Distillery under the Very Olde St. line? Let's talk about it. Preservation Distillery and Very Olde St. have a strange, interesting history that a lot of people probably aren't aware of and don't really understand what's going on. So Preservation Distillery officially opened their doors in 2015. However, the Very Olde St. line and what makes Preservation special goes back way further. Preservation Distillery has been making their own distillate. They have a really nice distillery. If you ever get the chance to visit, I strongly recommend it. They are making a pot still wheated. They are blending their own distillate into a bunch of other stuff. The bottlings all look very high class. I think they look really good. I've heard some mixed reviews on what people think of what the Old St. Nick bottles look like. I personally love it. I think it looks kind of vintage and special. I think it's really cool. But even with everything that Preservation is doing, the lineup that has garnered the most attention is your Rare Perfection line and your Old St. Nick line. Very Olde St. Nick. Rare Perfection is essentially their experimental line. So they will do a lot of funky stuff. I know that one of the ones I've tried in the past that I really liked was a 15-year cask strength, but it was a Kentucky bourbon that had been aged in Canada, which is very strange. That kind of slows down the aging process. It slows down that barrel influence. It was a very good whiskey. It was a very fun whiskey. Some of the other Rare Perfections have been straight up Canadian distillate. I'm not sure what they did with it. One of the big issues that you'll find with Preservation Distillery and the Rare Perfection line and the Very Olde St. Nick line is that there isn't a lot of transparency. So you really don't know what is going on. So even though I know that the Rare Perfection line is kind of their more experimental line, I don't know anything about the different releases. And I don't even know where you could go to get that information. You could try asking the owner, Marcy. She's pretty open with information. She's very kind. But outside of that, I don't know what you would do. Now, if we're talking the Very Olde St. Nick line, like this Immaculata right here, Very Olde St. Nick has a very long and storied history. I believe it was back in the 80s that they first started releasing these bottlings. I think they exclusively went to the Japanese market. I could be wrong. Some of them could have been stateside and whatnot, but the majority definitely went to the Japanese market. And what made them really special is that she was partnering with / worked alongside / whatever with Julian Van Winkle. You know that name because of Pappy Van Winkle name and Stitzel Weller. So a lot of the really early releases of Very Olde St. Nick were all Stitzel Weller and are known to be absolutely incredible releases. I've never personally had one. It's definitely on my bucket list. I would love to try an old Very Olde St. Nick. So what we have here now today is the Immaculata. They've been releasing some new Very Olde St. Nick releases. This one, it says it's a blend of up to 15 years old. I'm not really sure what that means. I don't know if it's 10 to 15, 12 to 15. Who knows? Again, there's not a whole lot of transparency. It was distilled in Kentucky and Indiana, so I really don't know the sources either. It really doesn't taste like anything I've really had before. I think that if anything, I could maybe pull some pre-fire Heaven Hill type notes out of this, where it has that like really sweet caramelized corn to it. But the corn that you get here, this is not a young whiskey at all. And it doesn't taste like it. It tastes like it's got some really good sweet oak on it. But if you've ever had Pre-Fire Heaven Hill, it has this like sweet caramely corn type note to it. And I kind of get that here. Doesn't mean that there's even Heaven Hill in this, but I'm just saying I think I get that. So this is a very high quality whiskey. It's a very high quality bourbon. With that, it carries a very high quality price tag. This is $250 to $260 MSRP. Extremely expensive. That's kind of the trend with a lot of these Very Olde St. Nick releases, is that honestly, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a very, very good pour, but you're gonna pay for it. Whether that's a good thing or not is completely up to you. You do whatever you want with your money, you know? But if you want to make sure that you're gonna have a high quality pour and price isn't really that big of a deal to you, these are great bottles, they really are. Outside of those Pre-Fire Heaven Hill vibes, I get a lot of just really high quality earthiness. So the leather that I get here is different from leather than I get in some other pours. This is like your old cracked leather. The tobacco notes that you get are like an old cigar that's been aging in a humidor. You get some caramel, but it's like very subtle and sweet. Everything that's happening here is reminiscent of a very old, kind of dusty, beautiful pour. They did a really good job blending this. I don't know how many barrels went into this. I don't know how much is Kentucky. I don't know how much is Indiana. I don't know how much of it is older whiskey, how much of it is on the younger end. This could even have 2-year-old whiskey in it. I know it doesn't. I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere in some release somewhere that it's at least 8 years old or at least 10 years old with up to 15, but it tastes like it could be much older. And the thing about Marcy and preservation, and especially this Very Olde St. Nick line, she has crazy stocks in her inventory that she has just been aging or letting sit vatted in, I don't even know where. I don't know where she keeps them. I don't know if they're at Preservation Distillery on their grounds somewhere. They have a massive, almost farm-like area to their distillery. So maybe there's a hidden spot that has a bunch of old vatted whiskey. I don't know. But this tastes like whiskey of yesteryear, and I love it, to be honest. They've been dropping some other Very Olde St. Nick releases lately that are even more expensive. I think $700 to $900, sometimes even more. However, word on the street is that these are old vatted Stitzel Weller, and you're not going to get that anywhere else. You're going to pay for it under the Very Olde St. Nick line, but you can't get it anywhere else. I will say that you can still find this on the shelf some places. It is one of those things where, because of the price, it sits around a little bit until people want like a special pour. I personally got this on sale from one of the big California chains. I got it for like just over $100, which is an absolute steal. If you can find it on sale like that, don't hesitate, grab one, you won't regret it. If you're just joining me for the first time, welcome. If you're not, I'm gonna try and make this quick. I don't rate things on a number scale. I think that the number scale is a little faulty and that it can change on a day-to-day basis. I rate them on pass, try, buy, hoard. Pass are those whiskeys that the value's way off, something is off, the flavor might not be there, any number of things where I just think you shouldn't buy it. Try it are those pours where the value might be off, it might even be really good, but I might think it's really funky, something along the lines of where it just might not be for everybody, and I think you should try it at a bar or a friend's house before picking it up. And buy it are those pours that I think are really good and I think are worth adding to your collection. They're a good value, it's a good pour, it's got a good story, whatever. It's just a good spirit. Hoard it are those really special bottles. I really think you should go grab it. You should add it to your collection. Don't hesitate, they're really good. For me personally, this is gonna be a try it. It is a phenomenal bourbon. It really is. But the value is what really kind of gets me. It's a very expensive pour. I won't say it's not worth it because it is really good, but you have to understand that you're going to be paying for what you're getting, which is fine sometimes. I am a very small channel, so if you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, comment. Any interaction really helps me a lot, and I really appreciate it. And with all that out of the way, may your trails be empty and your glasses full. Cheers.